All right, it's about a minute to 4 p.m. Welcome to News Now with me, Hibaq, where we tell you all the stories that have been making headlines so far. To start us off, 13 major matatu companies have moved to the High Court to challenge Nairobi County's directive banning passenger pickups and drop-offs at petrol stations within the CBD. Justice Chacha Mwita has ordered the companies and the county to enter negotiations after operators warned that the abrupt ban could cripple services and leave thousands of commuters stranded during the festive season. The petitioners argue the directive is procedurally unfair, economically harmful, and unsupported by evidence of safety risks. Lawyers Dunstan Omari and Stanley Kinyanjui urged the court to issue urgent conservatory orders, saying delays would render the case meaningless.
The judge has ordered the legal team of the matatus, the legal team from the county government, the legal team from EPRA, and the legal team from the petrol stations to converge and have a meeting within 7 days on how to resolve this matter to avoid a crisis that is likely to happen.
Matter be transferred to the commercial division for hearing and determination. The reasons for
Now, former Deputy President and DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua continued his door-to-door campaigns in Mbeere North in support of DP candidate Newton Kariuki. Gachagua toured Kanyueri, Kiambundu, Shirari and Baraga villages, engaging locals and urging them to support Kariuki. He shared tea while residents, and part of his charm offensive is intensifying this campaign and is seen as an effort to reassert influence in the region ahead of the by-election. Right. And Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has stepped up Kenya Kwanza's campaign efforts in Mbeere North ahead of the upcoming by-election. Speaking in Muthanathara, Embu County, he assured residents that stalled infrastructure projects would be completed to boost economic growth. He urged voters to support UDA candidate Leonard Wamuthende, saying leadership choices should be based on integrity, vision and performance. Kindiki also criticized opposition leaders, for failing to deliver while in office.
Ujanja wa nyani uishia jangwani. Ujanja ya nyani uishia wapi? Ni jangwani, si jangwani. Ujanja umeisha, ujaisha. Kuja pole omba kura ya candidate wako. Hata huyo candidate ni rafiki yangu, ni kijana yetu. Ni vile sio watu wote watapata kazi moja. Huyu ndugu yangu mwingine amendanganywa na ndugu zangu, unaenda upinzani, kupiga mawe, kurusha serikali mawe, kufanya maandamano. Tunataka hii barabara ijengwe na ikamilishwe. So tukienda upinzani, hii barabara iko tokaruta barabara. Ukiona tumekimya, utuheshimu. Ni vile tunajua uongozi lazima ukue soba. Lakini sio kuleta kierere hapa. My friend, ukitaka nikutoe nguo, nitakutoa nguo.
Huyu mtu yako na nidhamu kweli? Rigiji yako na nidhamu? Pia anaendelea kusema ati ya kwamba mimi Roko na PS wa energy, wa stima, ati tuko na njama ya kusima stima wakati ya kuhesabu kura. Unajua kama umenjua, umeshindwa mapema, unakuwa na vizingizio ya kila aina.
Right. Kasipul parliamentary aspirants Boyd Were and Philip Aroko have each been fined 1 million shillings for their role in violent November 6 clashes that caused deaths, injuries and property destruction. IBC Commissioner Dr. Alutalala Mukhwana warned the two candidates against further violations and emphasized the importance of peaceful elections. They must also sign a peace pledge and are urging supporters to remain calm ahead of the November 27th by-election.
We have said both parties were culpable. We wish to remind all political players in Kasipul and elsewhere in the country that at no time should their activities endanger the safety or lives of IEBC staff.
I respect the decision of the committee, and I'll seek further guidance on the same. I've signed the Political Decency and Peace Charter for political candidates, but it doesn't mean that I'm guilty. But I want to reaffirm my commitment to advocating for peace in Kasipul.
I have signed a document, Political Decency and Peace Charter for the political candidates. I will represent them peacefully, like I've always been. That I will maintain it peaceful and adhere to the code of conduct that is already set here.
Now, a new Center for Africa Progress survey has ranked President William Ruto's best and worst performing cabinet secretaries. The survey, conducted on November 14th to 16th with a sample of 6,000 Kenyans, ranks Energy CS Opiyo Wandayi highest at 9%, followed by Education CS Migosi at 8.5% and Health CS Aden Duale at 8.2%. The lowest ranked CSs are Sports CS Salim Vuria 0.1% and EAC CS Beatrice Askul at 1%. Labour CS Alfred Mutua is at 1.2%. 60% of the respondents said most CSs are incompetent. 24% said they are competent. As KCSE examinations conclude, the government has reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding the integrity of the results. Education CS Julius Migosi Ogamba said marking preparations are well underway and center managers have been instructed to enforce strict discipline, including locking away mobile phones during exam sessions. He spoke in Kiambu County during the opening of the Geography and Physics exam papers, accompanied by Ruiru MP Simon Kingara and senior ministry officials.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning.
As the KCSE cycle concludes, preparations are now underway for the marking and the processing of results. In addition, senior schools should be ready to receive their first cohort of grade 10 learners by the 12th of January 2026. The ministry is implementing reforms to strengthen access, equity and quality at basic, senior and university together with vocational training levels. Ongoing efforts include expansion of infrastructure, targeted teacher deployment and support for the continued implementation of the competency-based education.
Clinical and laboratory officers are protesting over 16 months of unpaid salaries and a lack of permanent pensionable contracts. They accuse the government of sidelining them during global fund absorption, leaving 81 or rather 91 county-based officers in limbo despite years of service. They say their critical work in HIV and TB management is undervalued, with some colleagues battling depression and one reportedly dying by suicide. They vowed to protest every Wednesday until action is taken.
Contract of global fund employees.
These people have been working for the last 16 months without pay. They have suffered immensely. They have suffered mental health challenges.
We are requesting that we get paid our 16 months salary with immediate effects because it is long overdue. Secondly, we are requesting and we are demanding to be given permanent and pensionable employment.
So we are not going to sit. Somebody like me, I'm now 55. I'm remaining with only 5 years to retire. Which kind of fruits am I going to enjoy?
Now, a new Amnesty International report claims the government spent between 25,000 shillings and 50,000 shillings per day on a 20-person network paid to push pro-government messaging and counter online protests in 2024 and 2025. The largely peaceful protests were fueled by anger over the finance bill and rising cost of living. Amnesty says at least 3,000 people were arbitrarily arrested, with 83 enforced disappearances and 128 deaths recorded since June of 2024. The report adds that platforms such as TikTok and X enable the youth to organize and fundraise for arrested protesters. Actions met with intimidation, harassment, online threats, and unlawful surveillance.
The Kenyan government responded with online intimidation, threats, incitement to hatred and surveillance, interfering with the rights and freedoms of expression and peaceful assembly. Online harassment and smear campaigns became the core tools of the state to undermine the credibility and reach of government critics. Some of these tactics facilitated and were later used to justify arrests, enforced disappearances, and the killings of notable protest organizers. Amnesty International estimates that across both sets of protests, June 2024 and July 2025, excessive use of force by security agencies resulted in the deaths of at least 128 people, 3,000 arrests, and over 83 enforced disappearances.
Right, let's get sporty. Harambee Stars coach Benny McCarthy is under pressure after FKF President Hussein Mohamed issued a tough statement following Kenya's heavy defeat to Senegal. Mohamed announced imminent structural changes within the technical bench, citing concerns over preparation and performance. Sources say McCarthy skipped key training sessions in Nairobi before the team traveled to Turkey and has been exploring job opportunities elsewhere, raising questions about his focus. The fallout comes after Kenya's 8-0 loss to Senegal and a 1-0 defeat to Equatorial Guinea. And Kenya's under-17 national team, the Junior Stars, coached by William Muluya, were held to a 1-1 draw by Somalia in the CECAFA under-17 AFCON qualifiers. Reis Ochieng opened to scoring the 31st minute before Somalia's Anas Mohamed equalized 10 minutes into the second half. The Junior Stars now prepare to face Rwanda on Friday, South Sudan on Monday, and hosts Ethiopia in their final group match.
Congrats to the team. It is an atmosphere that we wanted to have it so that at least we could exhaust the anxiety. So we led, yes, in the first half through a very good goal from Yusuf. And I think through lapses, we spread the field a bit for Somali to equalize in the second half from a long ball played to our defenders. But despite of the one that went through and we considered a goal, I think they had really done their best basically to try and contain the Somalians.
All right, that concludes our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for being a part of News Now with me, Hibaq Said. Be sure that these stories and many more will be updated in our subsequent bulletins. Have a good afternoon.